Right then, this is a quick walk around video for an absolutely beautiful Honda CRZ Sport Coupe. This car, 11 plates, covered just 38,000 miles. I have maintained for a long time that, as far as I'm concerned, these are definitely going to have modern classic status, and this would be a fine one to add to any collection. It is lovely. I'll go around the car as you always do. Front of the car, lovely and clean. Lenses very clean, no cracks of condensation in them. Bonnet pretty much unmarked. Come down the near side, passenger side, absolutely smooth in the panels. It's such a lovely, interesting shape. Alloys are in really lovely condition as well. Obviously, as everyone knows, this is pretty much a modern version of the old CRX, of which I own one, so I can see exactly what they've done with it, and it's just a brilliant, brilliant car. Back again. I apologise, it's quite windy today, so I hope you can hear me okay. Down the offside, again, beautifully clean. Is in absolutely lovely condition. And by the way, the reason I do it in the shade on bright sunny days is actually it shows up marks on the car much more clearly. Just coming into the back of the car now, big boots on them, actually really big, and you can make it even bigger by dropping these seats forward, which I recommend you do, because effectively, although they say it's a 4-seater, forget that, because that's your leg room basically. So just drop the seats down, you've got a 2-seater with an enormous boot. Coming inside the car now, they've got such lovely, lovely looking cars, they really are. I know I labour the points, but I can't help it. Finally come round in on the driver's side as well. So inside the car now, engine's running for the section as always, so dash can be seen illuminated. And what an absolutely stunning interior it is, which is subjective, but I just think it's lovely. Come across to the main dash binnacle. Hope you can see, obviously engine's running, 38,572 miles. There are no warning lights on the car at all whilst the engine's running. By the way, that's the dash you get when you're in Econ and normal mode. If I press the sport button, you see it just changes to red to give you a more sort of sporty flavour. But it's so unique, it's absolutely lovely. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for Honda CRZ Sport Hybrid. This car is registered YR11AUE and with a mileage of just 38,573 recorded. The reason we do the videos is basically just to make sure that if anyone is online looking at any of our cars, they actually get to see the car we're advertising actually in operation. So coming to the car itself, I'll stick my hand up straight away. I'm a complete CRZ fanboy. I adore these cars. But this road test is to sort of pick up any issues there might be with the car, so I won't be pulling any punches if that's the case, which I'm pretty much certain there isn't because I've driven it before. But you know, I'll have to try and rein in my enthusiasm to some degree. Starting with the hybrid system, turn the key, press a button, silently whirs into life. It's what is referred to these days as a self-charging hybrid system, so there's no plugging in, you just drive the car as you would do any normal petrol car. Run low on fuel, put fuel in. It's as simple as that. They're a joy to own, incredibly reliable, and you know, the relatively small hybrid battery just gives it extra energy that you wouldn't ordinarily expect from a 1.5. But the interaction between all of it is just genius. Coming to the sensible stuff, no warning lights on the dashboard at all related to the engine or any other part of the car. It's just a lovely thing to drive and own and use. Basically, you've got 3 modes of driving in the car. Basically it starts in what they call normal mode. It's kind of an in-between mode, if you like. and it gives you good performance. It's absolutely fine. They've got Econ, which is basically you can feel the throttle pedal. You just got to push it a lot harder to get it to get up and go, which I'm not a great fan of. I'm going to be honest with you, because I owned one of these years ago. I've said in billions of these videos that I didn't get on with the car because I was just trying constantly to just chase MPG rather than enjoying the car. Press into sport mode and it just is a different beast. It's just got instant throttle response. It's keen. It wants to go. Honda 1.5 engine. It's got that lovely thrummy intake noise when you put your foot down. It's really. It's got a kind of hard edge to it, but in a not uncouth in any way. It's very kind of sophisticated. I'm not going to win that argument, am I? That's quite a big thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant powertrain. It really is, and the interaction between engine and hybrid system, you just don't feel it. It's an absolute marvel of engineering. It really is. In all honesty, the difference between economy that I used to get in Econ and Sport was only because I was driving it more gently, and if I drove it as hard in Sport mode and Econ mode, then I'd be using just as much fuel. So I just thoroughly recommend putting it in Sport mode and just absolutely love and enjoy the car as much as I have done. The superlatives continue because clutch is smooth, bike point's perfect as you can expect, and then you come to one of the best gear changes you'll ever experience. Starts with the tactile bit, what you put your hand on, got a little leather bound thing, kind of chromey feeling gear knob, but it's tapered down with slight ridges, and your hand kind of claws it. It's a brilliant but simple design, and your hand fits beautifully on it. But the gear change itself is absolutely fantastic. It's, I say, one of the great gearboxes because it adds to the driving experience. It doesn't detract as so many gearboxes do in so many cars. That is just perfection. It really is. Only bettered, as I say in all these CLZ videos, by possibly the S2000 gearbox and maybe the DC2. I've owned both of those as well, so they're it's a very special gearbox, that. Anyway, by the way, there's nowhere in it. Coming to the steering and chassis, first of all, steering track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at all at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. Chassis exhibits no clonks, no rattles. The whole car has that as new feel to the way it drives. It's just so tight and taut, which belies the fact that it's 11 years old. It's it's borderline ridiculous how well Honda make these things. But the chassis and steering are fantastic. The steering is one of those basically you get in the car and think, what on earth is he talking about? Because it just feels, just nice. It's nicely weighted. But what's clever about it is it's accurate. You turn in, it almost feels sort of a little bit slow, but it's not. Because what it gives you is absolute confidence, whether you're going at relatively low speeds or higher speeds. The steering kind of is your ally in that, and it works with the chassis absolutely brilliantly. As I said in the video, in the advert rather, that I really feel like this chassis is so reminiscent of the old school hot hatches, which were not these heavy, clumsy, overweight things that you get now, which are kind of sanitized, but things that had an energy to them, kind of almost like a puppy quality to them. They're just keen to go, keen to change direction, and this is a perfect example of one. But the flip side is this one, if you're not in the mood, doesn't remain hyperactive. It settles down. You've got a very compliant, well-judged ride. It's absolutely superb. It really is. I'd ordinarily give the brakes a good old thump, and they are perfect, by the way, but the reason I'm not going to is it's got brand new brake pads in the back, and certainly for the first 50 to 100 miles you want to be sort of bedding them in relatively gently, so I'm not going to go all hooligan on them and not do what I practice what I preach. Finally, coming inside the car, and it just continues. I mean, it's very much a subjective thing in some ways, but what isn't subjective is the build quality. They are beautifully put together cars. It's a car that, as I say in the walk around video, you've got to think of it as a two-seater car. You could squeeze a little child in the back on occasion, but if you're thinking of buying it as a family car, forget it. It's not the right car. It's a two-seater with joke rear seats. Drop the seats, you've got a two-seater with massive boot, and that's the way I've always viewed them. But it's just so special in here. You get in most cars, they leave you cold. They're just the same old things, same format. This, you've got the perfect driving position, great visibility, certainly forward, less so in the back. But you've got a cockpit that is designed so I can concentrate on the job in hand of driving, so it shouldn't detract from it at all. But what you have got is something that is so pleasing to the eye, in my eyes at least anyway. Most conventional part is this massive great big radio, which is brilliant for old people like me. It's just so easy to use, it's brilliant. Those who have had or been lucky enough to drive S2000s will think that these two little pods either side of the steering wheel, very reminiscent of the S2000 in that way, but ergonomically it's brilliant. Your finger, it's there, there's no kind of reaching, your hand just falls onto it absolutely brilliantly. And then you've got this wonderful array of colours this in the instrumentation binnacle, and to me it's like an arcade game. It's just lovely to look at. It's cheeky, but it's informative. It gives you the information brilliantly well, but it leaves you, like the rest of the car, with a smile on your face. They are joyful cars in a world of pretty much dull appliances, and this is just a really lovely example of one of them. As I said at the start of the video, I mean, the brief drive I've just done is really to pick up on any issues and forget all my blitherings on about how much I love the car. I can't fault it in any way. I've owned them, I've owned lots of them, know exactly how they should drive, and this one is very, 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 very nice indeed. It drives absolutely perfectly. As always though, if you've got any questions about the car, don't hesitate, do give us a call.